The way I didn't understand, I don't always understand what's going on here. Welcome to the Real on Parenting, where we need to do a show on pets and
The fur babies, okay?
the rehoming process because I'm tired.
Oh,
Good
oh,
Lord. Listen, pets are a different situation.
they
So much
are.
more different than kids.
They
But
are.
how you doing, Danielle?
I'm all right. I'm all right. How are you?
Very good. Welcome to the Real on Parenting, everybody. I am your co-host, Kiana Shaw, and my
And I,
girl.
oh yes, and I'm therapist Danielle.
And we're excited. We're excited. Today we're going to be talking about things we wish we knew before becoming a parent.
Mhm,
And I
mhm.
think that there is a level of seriousness and fun,
And
but
humor,
good
okay?
Lord. I remember one time I was like, things I never thought I would hear myself say as a parent, right? Like,
Ooh,
pull your
ooh.
dress out your shoes.
What? I don't
Just
even
as
want to know,
long
actually.
it was stuck in her shoe. I never thought I would hear myself say that. Kayla,
That
pull
is
your
too
dress
funny.
out your shoes. Like these are the types of listen. If you're listening and you're not a parent, please know everything that you said you would never say and do. Not everything, but a
A
good
good
number of
portion.
things that are
Yes.
really important. You're gonna be like, oh my God, I turned into my mama. Oh my
Yes.
God, I turned into granny. You really
Yes.
will, because it's just like, what is
Yes.
going on here? All right. So
Yes.
Danielle, what's something that you never thought you'd hear yourself say?
Oh, all of it. No. It was in all of it being everything my mama said in reference and innuendoed and threatened and all of it. I would say when you in the thick of it, in the thick of it is when your children are pubescent and the hormones are hormoning,
Yes.
and depending on what phase of life you in, because I'm evidently in the perimenopause, premenopause, whatever, the menopause, okay? The two really don't go well together. They
They
don't go well
don't.
together.
They don't.
So I'm just gonna say that. It's a challenge, okay? The
It
triumph of the
is.
gangster every second. So
Yes.
for me, let me see. I would say that it's for me it's more of the non-verbals. Um,
Your mom is good at
and
nonverbals.
and so it's really not. I think we were all hazed into learning the nonverbals, okay? Just
Not
like in
Hayes.
like hazed, okay? Because if you couldn't catch on to the language, you was not gonna survive. And
Listen,
and the
because Big Sister
nonverbals,
Fast Backhand, aka Miss Bay. You said Hayes. I immediately thought of sororities and fraternities. I'm like, yeah, Big Sister Fast Backhand was no joke.
right? And it was quick. It was a big hand, but then don't underestimate the fact that she had a thick hand, okay? Because it moves swiftly. But but it's the nonverbals along with what's coming after that. So it's like the inner conversation you have with yourself is kind of like you forget your child is your child, and it was like you see this on social media. Who is she talking to?
Right. Because if you want to
Next thing
fight,
you
sis,
know, yes, and the next thing you know, you are directly in front of your child. I don't know if you kind of um what's it called when you go up in the air over.
levitating.
Yes, there you go. If you levitated over there, you just got there swiftly, and it was like, what did you say? Can
Yeah.
you repeat that? And then that becomes a confusing question. Like, am I supposed to answer that question?
Nah, she ain't
Because
supposed to
it's
answer
like,
that question. She's supposed to back down, but these kids are different.
no, and they are, but that also speaks to the fact of we trying to parent our children different than the way that we were parented.
Yes, where
But
they
when you in
don't
the thick
feel.
of it's the trauma. It's your mama. It's your daddy. It's your grandma that's jumping out your mouth before you can even have a complete thought. Um,
Yes. I recently told Kayla, I was like, I didn't have this room where I could say what my feelings were. Nobody asked my opinion. Like this, I am really trying to do this in a different way. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't have it all. I don't have all the answers. You know what I'm saying? As
Mm-hmm.
as a parent coach, as a life coach, I don't
Right.
have all the answers, but I'm doing my best, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in
Mm-hmm.
doing my best, my baby like, lady, what is wrong with you?
Right, right. And I agree with you. I didn't have the space, and nor was it something that was taught for obvious reasons of being
Mm-hmm.
able to listen to your children, giving them the
Right.
space to speak and share their feelings and thoughts. Because obviously, for those in our era, it was like you're talking back in the disrespectful. So
Right.
now, we're trying to do the opposite of that, right? And so when they get to a certain age, there's a thin line. It comes to a place where it's a thin line. And in that moment, that emotional moment for that parent, it's like, who is she talking to? Where my daughter would say,
It's
but
that
mom, I
it's
was
that
just
your
trying to
voice went up
explain.
3 octaves. That's
Girl, that's a trigger. That lets me know, like, okay, I just need to take a moment to regroup because I didn't hit an octave as if I was at choir rehearsal. And I just need a moment. So it comes to where it's like, okay, I have been giving my child this space and place to be able to communicate her feelings. Now,
mm-hmm.
in this moment where my emotions are heightened, I'm telling her to hush. I'm not letting
Yes.
her communicate her feelings and her thoughts. But then there was a part of just navigating that. Right now, in this
Yes.
moment, may not be the best time because you may find yourself in a tobacco. Mommy's going to be great. You're going to just trying to figure out where you are and what happened. So let's just take a moment. Mommy needs some time, okay? In
It's
this
like they
moment,
waking up. It's like, oh, I'm glad you woke up. I was gonna give it 5 more minutes before I called your grandma.
right, right, right. But that leads into the fact that just emotions,
Yes.
the level of emotions that your child experiences that triggers you.
And creates a range of emotions that you feel.
And some of it that you didn't even realize that even existed. You have
Yeah.
you question yourself, what is going on with me? Am I okay? Am I crazy? Am I the one who tripping? Because I know for me, especially when my daughter was what I want to say age 6, kind of all
Mm-hmm.
the way up into now. Granny has transitioned, but that first thing in the morning, getting ready for the day and out the door, and I didn't like that part of the day.
Right.
Never knew what you was gonna get. You trying to stay calm. I make sure it's my coffee in my hand before I start talking. Because calm is not gonna come out of my mouth.
Right.
Not when you come in with shenanigans that early in the morning.
And I've had to say things like, "Hey, Kayla, when mommy has to get ready and I have to be out the door as well,
Mm-hmm.
I can't have all the conversation because my daughter, we talk, she loves to communicate,
Right.
but in the
Right.
morning when I'm like trying to do all the things, like my brain is in 100 places. It's like I'm the
Yeah.
person that has like 18,000 tabs open on my computer. My mind
Mm-hmm.
always has 18,000 tabs. So when I have to get out the house as well, I'm not just making sure she's out the house where
Focus.
I can have
Yeah.
a little bit of conversation. Now I'm like, okay, do I have my bag? Is my charger in my laptop in the bag? Is like, do I have
Mm-hmm.
dry erase markers? Do you know what I mean? Like it's like a
Yeah.
checklist that's constantly going.
Mm-hmm.
Did breakfast happen? Did we turn off the stove? Did we, you know what I mean? Like all these things
Right. Yes. All the
are
things.
a
I think
part
we
of it.
all, the mamas, maybe the daddies too, is understanding like, yes.
So when I have to be out the door too, I can't handle all the extra conversation because I'm trying to
Yes.
figure out everything. And then, sometimes you do get a phone call in the morning and it's like, okay, I got to take this call. And then your child is like, well, if you can take that call, then you can take my call.
You can talk to them,
So
but you can't talk to me. Yes.
right. And then it's like they'll take it personal. And then that
Person.
that can like
Yeah. Their
have an
feelings are hurt.
intensity of emotions for both of us, right?
Yeah.
Especially if it's something that someone that you don't talk to often or you already
Mm-hmm.
had that plan. So it's like you trying to hurry up before they call. You know what I mean? So it
Right.
can be a
Right.
lot. And so that roller coaster of emotions um is something that I wish I would have known how I don't know. I don't know how I would have prepared for it, right?
Right.
There's
But
no
it's just that, like,
preparation for
just
that.
being informed, but and granted, there is a difference between having an idea of what things may be or the possibility. Like, I knew
Yes.
that I wasn't going to be able to get my daily 2 hour nap. However,
Your
that
daily,
physical
I'm
impact,
sorry, time out. You said your daily who?
2 hour nap.
You
Mm-hmm.
used to take a
Yes,
2 hour nap every day before you got pregnant?
I did. Yes.
How,
My body required 10 hours of sleep. So
so you
whatever
would
I
get
didn't,
8 and then get 2 in the middle?
so for whatever, if I didn't get that 10 hour for that night, my body was gonna make up the difference with the nap. And it would just wake up on its own. Like, So if you are a napper and you a parent now, are you okay? I don't care if they are teenagers. Are you okay? Because when I say that there's the patient's tank is depleted, okay?
Yeah.
The level of always having to be on, right? Just emotionally, mentally, you're always on. I think that's a part where one that's never been stated. I've never seen it as far as the mental and emotional aspect of your children and the impact it has on you of always having to feel, I guess you would say, that you got it. You need to address it. It needs to be resolved. It needs to be fixed. And along with the nuances in between.
Right. Just so that you can
Tantrums,
manage the
unexpected,
feelings
right.
more effectively.
Yeah. So that feelings part, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's making me have a hot flash right now just thinking about it. But
That's funny. All right. So what's yours? What's one that you wish you knew?
I would say the self-care, and it sounds cliche, but I would say for me, actually realistically understanding what that means
Mm-hmm.
after my daughter and after my older children are now adults, and my daughter who thinks she's grown, she 2 days from being grown. Okay. So with that, there's a part of where
Don't leave my
self-care
girl
before children
alone.
for me was doing stuff just related to me. Now self-care is, did I eat breakfast? It kind of goes down to those daily required things. Did I drink my water?
Yes.
Or did I only consume my coffee for the day and I look up and it's 3 o'clock? Did I stand up? Did I go for a walk? So it really has shifted, just because of my role and my responsibilities. But
Right.
daily requirements, I will say things that are needed on a daily for my body to function, that has become more of my initial go-tos in regards to self-care. And then the obvious, in regards to, I love getting my nails done, I love writing. But I would say for me, learning how to accept where I was in my phase of life related to my self-care. Where was I
Yes.
lacking, whether that was intentional or not, and tending to that. Danielle, did you actually go to your doctor's appointment that you rescheduled 3 times? Okay.
Wow.
Because you're tired. That means I gotta get in the car and drive there. You can't call me on the phone, and you know I don't even talk on the phone. So
Right. I was about to
everybody's
say, wait a minute, you taking calls?
that lets you know how serious it was, and I was not okay. I was just trying to thug it out. But everybody's version of self-care is different, and that is okay. And when people share their advice and suggestions, they're speaking from their personal experience,
Yes.
But for me, I would say that aspect of what is supposed to be done on a daily basis for me to function in general. And I really had to start with that because the body was falling apart.
Absolutely.
But
So recently, a couple of weeks ago, Kayla said to me, Mommy, you work all the time and that's not healthy. And I was just like, but I gotta feed us. But
honey,
it
I'm sure you
made
don't
me
want noodles
think,
every night.
right? But it made me think, like, when was the last time I had a break? Well, I took like a 48-hour sabbatical, and hit up Vegas and had a good time. But that was like the first time in so
Years.
long. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah.
think I had went to Vegas like maybe 3 years before, and I'm like, where have I been? Where have I done? And I'm always working. Part of it is the addiction of working, right? That's something that we don't think about when we're thinking about self-care. Some of us are addicted to working, maybe not being in front of the computer at the desk, but if you're taking your laptop to bed, like there's an addiction to that. And the importance of self-care means let me tune out. Right now, I'm good at just turning on my fireplace. Like it could be summer, honey, and I'll turn the air on and turn the fireplace on so I can sit there comfortably and
Yeah, I don't
just
think that's
look at
ever
the
an option for
fire.
me these days. But
I can't remember the last time I just went to
get
the
that.
water. Like I love the beach. I can't remember the
Mm-hmm.
last time I just went to the water, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a form of self-care for me.
Right.
When I was in Vegas, I soaked in the tub and I was just like, it's been a while since I have soaked in the tub and just like turned on some music and just sat
Mm-hmm.
there. Like, cause I'm
Mm-hmm.
always like, okay, I'm sitting, I'm soaking in the tub, I'm soaking, soak. All right, I got stuff to do. Let me get up. You know what
Right,
I mean? Like,
right,
even if the thing
right,
to do is to go to bed, right? Like, I'm just like, I'm always
right,
rushing it.
right.
So that's a big thing.
Okay.
I like that one. Um, Sleep deprivation. Honey, nobody told me the realness of that. Nobody told me how
Girl, what
real
have you
sleep.
delusional and hallucinating? I'm
Now, I
telling
should
you.
have had a clue when I was pregnant with Kayla because I would sleep 16 hours. I would literally get up, go teach a class, come back, and go straight to bed. I had nothing in me. Nothing. I had nothing. My
I
skin
can't
was pretty though.
I'm sure it was.
But as life has happened, like I get up, I check on her in the middle of the night. Like when she's not
Yeah.
here, if she goes to her dad's, I still wake up and I'll be halfway down the hall and I'll be like, turn around.
Oh
She
yeah,
ain't
she's
even
not
here.
right.
Right.
Right, right,
When we
right.
had COVID a couple of years ago, her oxygen had dropped and like I could
Mm,
hear her struggling. And so I'm like calling a friend of mine in the middle of the night who's a registered
right.
nurse. And she's like, okay, this is what I want you to do. Turn her on her side.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's giving me the things to do.
The directions, yeah.
So I started staying up all night just so I could check her oxygen throughout the night. But I had COVID too, right? And I was exhausted. So when she would get
Yeah.
up in the morning, I would try to be like, okay, let me feed her, because she was like 6 or 7. So
Yeah,
I'm like, let
yeah.
me do all the mommy things, and then let me take a nap, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then I kept working because we were virtual. I was working during that time as well. So I
Yeah.
was exhausted. Like I remember like doing something and I was just like, how long was I sleep? Like on class, I think
Understand.
it was a quick
Unfortunately, I don't
dose
want
because it
to, but
didn't
I
look like my
understand.
students noticed. But honey, I had dozed off, and I'm just like, even now, like she's not sick, I'm not sick, but I'm up, and like my body is like, hey, get up, and I'm kind of
Mm-hmm.
like a 3 a.m. early
Yeah, I
riser
know.
anyway. So when I go to sleep, it's like 8 o'clock at night. But
Mm-hmm.
the level of lack of sleep, the way I
Right.
fall asleep, like I'm kind of dozing in the daytime. I'm like, goodness, like I never catch up. I wish I
Right.
would have known that.
Right. No, I agree. I already knew it was going to be some challenges, but
Well, for
it's kind of
you,
like,
your 10 hours of sleep self, see, I can't even fathom 10 hours.
man,
When if that happens, it's completely an accident.
man, but but also knowing the impact that it would have on your body.
Mm-hmm.
You can only consistently be sleep deprived so long before your
Mm-hmm.
body starts shutting down. Your eyelids are not staying open when they're supposed to.
Listen, just toothpicks, toothpicks. Oh,
I remember when I went back to work from maternity leave and I fell asleep at the stop sign. I said, how does one fall asleep at the stop sign when you determine when you stop and go? It was no other cars. It was a tenth of a second too long, I guess.
that's
I woke up
dangerous.
confused, like, where am I? Why am I in the car? Am I still pushing the gas? Girl. So, and then it got to a point for me where I literally, and I think when my daughter was like toddler age, and I would, when my body was falling asleep on the freeway, I don't fall asleep, like in general, I don't fall asleep like that
Right.
out of nowhere. So I was like, okay, obviously I need rest. And I would just go to the nearest gas station. I would text my husband. I cannot keep my eyes open. If I continue to try to push it home, I'm not gonna make it home.
Wow.
And I would take a nap. I will set a timer for 30 minutes and I would take a nap. And I'll let him know when I wake up, I'm like, okay, I'm heading home. Because it was that bad. I couldn't talk straight. I couldn't get complete sentences out. You know, it's like my mood was more all over the place than the usual. You know, my health, I had suffered from migraines. So my migraines were spiking out of control more than the usual, like literally from head to toe. Sleep impacts you, or the deprivation of sleep. Now I'd be like, was I just asleep with my eyes open? Evidently I was, because I started snoring. Girl, I need some type of something, okay? So it's too much. If I had about to be 13, you would think it kind of leveled out some. No, my body is still like, okay, what's going on? What is happening out there?
Right. So. I absolutely get that. Because aside from the sleep deprivation, when you're up, there's a constant, you know, like I said, constant checklist. There's 1,000 tabs open, right? Right now, we're doing this, and I'm like, did I take something out for dinner, right? Because it's like, okay, so if I didn't after this show, I got to make sure that I get dinner together. Right. And then it's like, okay, that means I also need to put a load of laundry in, which I meant to do so it could be washing while we're doing the show. Right.
Yeah, that reminds me, I need to take it out the dryer.
Out the dryer now. I'm not going to even talk about the fact that I got 3 or 4 loads sitting on the couch right now. That's just waiting to be folded, hung up, put away. Right. It's like there's 1,000 things to be done at all times. That's draining. Like it's not physical all the time, but the thought of the checklist is draining. And then when you actually start doing the checklist, child, please. That's a whole situation in and of itself.
That'll be the next we talk about is the checklist.
Yes.
It ain't never done.
Whole checklist, child. A whole checklist.
Yes. The checklist. I think nobody talks about that either. Because the checklist don't stop. I think
it doesn't. It don't even like. It's not even a checklist. It's just a scroll, like because you got to go back and do it again.
Some of those reoccurring, yes, that you did not subscribe to or didn't know that you had to subscribe to. So I would say that obviously there is the awareness
of you're going to have chicken out the freezer. Okay,
right. But there is obviously that awareness of there's going to be things, there's going to be tasks that you need to do. But I think that there isn't that understanding of what that looks like in real time. That it's ongoing.
Facts.
It's more so the to-do list, depending on the specific person, the child, the job, the household. The car, you know, and then it's like, oh, and there's one for me too. You know, if you ever get to that one, hopefully you should. It's for self-care, but that ongoing of there's always something that needs to be done, and really learning how to prioritize what's most important at that specific time. Because I think for me, when my daughter was younger, I was really wrapped up in the fact that all these things need to be done all the time in a timely manner, and obviously correctly and thoroughly.
Right.
And it was really difficult for me to be okay with just a tidy up. Let me just straighten up real quick. And it's like I didn't have time for the whole deep cleaning. Or if I did have time, I was exhausted.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to add a thing. Something I wish I knew before becoming a parent. To have not just a system of organization, because I don't care how organized you are, things go awry. But for a long time, I felt like shame around having, you know, a cleaning lady, right? Like, but that's important. Listen,
hey, if you can afford it, by all means.
Right.
She should be on the monthly expenses.
But sometimes it's not even like affording it. Sometimes it's like, hey, I need a friend who likes to clean to come over here because
right, who want to come help me tidy.
No, listen, I need somebody that like climbing up and getting the ceiling fans, and somebody who like getting low and getting the baseboards, because you, especially once you have a pet, you like, when did these marks get here? Like when did this dust find its way
Yes.
into
Yes.
the
How about
house?
I just dust mop and vacuum and sealed it? And where are these dust bunnies come from? The extra 10 ones to come out after I decide to clean. But what
Listen,
you were saying
the ones
is
in the
yes.
light fixture, we're first of all, we ain't even seen no gnats in the house. So why are they collected in my light fixtures? I saw that yesterday when I went to go change the bulb. I was like, this ain't the work of the Lord.
But yes, it is being okay with having help, asking for help, getting help. And I think that there is that aspect of having guilt or shame around the fact of even asking or even feeling the need of asking for help.
Yes.
I think that when coming from a generation of where our mothers and our grandmothers, they didn't have the means to have someone come in, in their house and help because everybody else take care of their own household, or in
Right.
regards to someone to come and clean. So they did
But
it
my
all
grandmother
because
also didn't have to go to work for 40 hours a week either. You understand what I'm saying? So it was a different level of she
right.
could be there to do the thing. Not that having 9 kids didn't keep her busy enough, okay? Because that was her full-time job.
Exactly. That's more
But my
than a full
grandfather was also
that's a side hustle
extremely
as well.
helpful. My grandfather was extreme, like he didn't play that. Like these boys gonna get in here and sweep and mop the floors because that's too hard on a woman's back. Like my grandfather was very clear. But it's just the day-to-day stuff. Like you're just like, I mean, look, listen, you see these 2 nails? Now I do my own nails to make sure I got money for the cleaner lady, okay? Like,
right. It's called the
so these
proper
nails are
sacrifices, right?
expensive. So I do my own. Like I bought all the stuff. I was like, Kayla, you're gonna have to learn how to do this because mama not paying that lady no more.
Right. Understand. I mean, and understandable. And everyone has their own priorities, right? On what's their thing. Totally understandable. But
Yes, baby, that's my
it's like
thing.
being okay with getting the help,
Yes,
or asking for help, because we're only one person, and we can only sustain
right.
consistency related to life and all the things and the unexpected. You know what I mean? So give yourself grace and get a cleaner. So
I did, and then I just turned on the air conditioner because remember I was freezing a couple of, and
I
now I'm hot
remember.
again. And
Yeah,
so
it's okay. I saw you glistening. It's all right, but I'm not speaking on,
gorgeous.
nobody's hot flash because I don't want them over here. So just let me know if you need any other type of
I'm
support from
good.
me, okay?
All
So,
right, so go ahead.
and I was gonna say another thing that I wish I had just someone sit down and talk with me and share these nuggets, if you will. It's just the level of patience that you have to have. There are some people that are very, very, very patient. I know for me, I'm very patient, but to a certain extent. Once you hit that limit, there's no more nice words. There's no more active
Therapist
listening.
Danielle. Now we
Exactly.
not finna lie to these people.
What?
You have patience, ma'am?
I do.
Is it just
There's a
not
difference between paid patients. There is a big difference. Don't get me confused.
Because I'm just sitting over here like, now, patience with your clients is one thing.
Don't get too confused.
Patience with your patients. But baby,
there you go. Big difference.
When I don't start this on time.
Right. I want my whole dollar. Anyway.
We're not gonna let her. I'm not gonna let her get away with that job. Like the real on parenting, the real on the lack of patience.
Because
don't make me call the babies in the room. Be like,
right?
So Danielle the other day.
Like, no, I'm very impatient. But it's like that internal battle of how I was raised. When I was told to do something, it was done. So there was no wiggle room of, oh, I'm doing it in 5 minutes. The fact that you said you're doing it in 5 minutes, it should have been done because now you wasted time. So there's that. Now there's that butting of
Coming to get
heads
the
related
baby. I'm gonna come
to
get her for the summer.
related to how I was raised, my mama jumping out of my mouth, and me just trying to be aware and
Yes.
adjust and implement ways of how I'm parenting that supports my daughter being responsible, respectful, effective.
Yes.
All those things, cognizant of her surroundings, but her time. So, but within that, the patience,
our daughters test our gangster. Maybe not
Kiana
so
took
much
a
when they
breath.
were
I was
babies.
thinking of this morning, like I have to have my talks in the morning to myself. Danielle, let's take our breaths. We're breathing. We're doing our deep breathing. Go get your coffee because you got not the amount of sleep you needed. So you not nice right now. So let's go ahead and get some liquid patience, some liquid calm, in hopes that by time you got a good amount in, that if your daughter starts with the shenanigans, you're kind of good to go at least for 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. That 45 minutes, she should be out the house. So I should be good to go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's a necessity to develop, because when you're guiding your children through their development, you absolutely need to be able to have that patience. Listen, I'm working on it. I think I do a pretty good job, but
no, you do.
There are days where I'm just like,
right. And there are times when I say, mommy doesn't have it. Mommy can't right now. Not that you did anything wrong. Mommy's spent. Mommy has nothing left. Mommy's not mommy. I can say that with her being older now, but the level of patience that's required.
Yes.
There's no words to really explain that, because each person in your family needs of you in a different way.
Yes.
And so that
every child is different. Yeah.
That pulls in a different way. And you experience that in a different way. You have one child where you're like, that's my easy child. And it may not even really necessarily be that they're easy. It just be that you guys may function in the same way, emotionally, mentally.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If you have
a child that's more like you.
Yes, so how you guys regulate your own feelings, how you guys communicate. It's kind of like you guys speak in the same language. So it's easy.
Yeah. And we talk about that in the previous episode of the 5 love languages. Like it really is a thing. Everybody needs something different. And if they need what you need, or they don't need what you don't need, right?
Right. And that does make sense.
That's a big thing. Like, I don't need a hug. Let's move on. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. I don't need a hug, but my daughter needs 10. So I see, then it's like my patience is depleted. Girl is depleted before she even got out the door. Because for me, as far as personal emotions, not that I can't do it, not that I don't provide it, but it pulls different.
Yes.
Even before I became a therapist, it pulls in a different way. And the way I need to recharge, the way that's set up in this household, I'm still trying to figure out what that looks like for me for recharging in that way. Because before, I would be MIA for 3 months because that's how I recharged. My friends understood it. They didn't question it. You know what I mean? So
not 3 whole months, but okay.
My moral life for 3 months. It's not an option. I really wish I could. So I'm gonna say for 3, but at least for a week. And I will come back so much more just smiling, Kool-Aid smiling, everything.
That's funny. All right. So another thing that I wish I knew, that parenting is expensive. Like, I knew that kids cost. I didn't know. Maybe because I just didn't think it through. But like, kids, the price of kids, the price that you have to pay to have them, it's like, so you want to eat every day, 3 times a day, and some snacks? The food bill is ridiculous. And because my daughter is in sports, where's your non-sports day stomach at? Because that's the one. what do we do when it's too much month at the end of the money? Like,
Right,
what
right.
we're not, I mean, the things that she likes, right? Because and I think we've talked about this before. I can get her the
Mm-hmm.
food that's good for her that she's not going to eat, so it
Right.
goes to
And then it
waste.
sits there, right?
I can get her the
Mm-hmm.
food that's all right for her that she'll, go ahead and eat up. And then I can get her the food that's not good for her, but she love it. And so she'll eat it all up in one setting, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
there is kids caught like the child, listen.
And
And my
something,
child is not happy with regular old food. Like and I don't know if what McDonald's costs these days, right? When parents be like, "Do you have McDonald's money?" No. Do you have Chick-fil-A money? Because, honey, why is this 20 not enough? I don't get
right?
it.
Because she wanted a drink, okay? Like the
Oh,
drink not included in the combo no more these days, and depending
well,
on where
honey,
you
I'm
go,
gonna
it's
need you to get you some water because out the water hose at that, because that water, sorry.
because they still charge you for that water. But yeah, but something that I wish that someone really sat down and explained to me, and granted, I guess you would say time changes in regards to health insurance, but I was under the assumption I have health insurance. I should be able to have my child. I pay my copay, maybe slightly a bit more because it's birthing a whole human, and I'm good. Let me tell you, that was the day I needed therapy when I got that medical bill in the mail. I thought it was a discrepancy. So I went ahead and I called the hospital as far as the number at the bottom of the bill to ask, well, what exactly? I'm confused on what this is because I have insurance. I work full time. I worked at my company for several years. I
Listen.
don't understand. And they broke it down, and I was like, this should be a part when you go in for your 6-week check or just to confirm that you're pregnant. That should be the responsibility of that nurse or that somebody, or to tell you, okay, you have this health insurance coverage, and there is a likely chance that you are going to receive a medical bill that may range from this price range to this price range.
And start on the high end of that range. Don't go on and tell
$100
me
is
up front it's gonna be
thousands.
$50,000.
It's thousands of dollars, even with a healthy pregnancy, a healthy
Listen,
nothing out of the norm happened.
The way I went through that list, and I was like, I didn't even have no Tylenol. My mama brought me Tylenol. Like,
right, no, for real.
Take that off.
And then they wanted $50 a tablet. It's like I didn't use them pads. I had my own pads.
Hello. Because y'all pads didn't make me feel secure at all.
So, but I really wish, like when they say everything costs, everything costs. And luckily, I actually had what is this kind of like a secondary insurance, and people know Aflac. Do they even exist with the duck when it's like Aflac? But anyways, I had a secondary.
I feel like I still have it.
Oh, but keep it, girl. Not because of that reason. I'm just saying keep it because
listen,
it's one of those.
I want all the insurance. What's the insurance that y'all just? That's the insurance I want. Don't send me nothing. How much do I have to pay for this so that when I leave here, they be like, they have my name on record just so that they can show they service me. But I don't want them contacting me at all. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, honey. That triggered me.
Okay, but I had a secondary insurance that luckily covered a good portion of my medical bill. And I didn't have it because I got it for that purpose. I just got it because I'm like, it's a benefit and my employer's providing it, so why not? Mm-hmm. So I luckily, I would say, was saved in the fact that I didn't have to pay some of the thousands. I still had to pay. Girl, I had to have a payment plan and everything because I'm like, these diapers, and the daughter wasn't taking the breast milk, so I had to buy the formula. Just know that if you have insurance, your copay is not $20.
I feel like I have gone down in this.
Girl.
Because Kayla's 10. I just finished paying that bill.
And I probably would have still been paying it had it not been for that secondary insurance. You know, sometimes it feels like it's a waste of money when you're paying and you're paying, but nothing has happened. But when
Right.
something happened,
Yeah, insurance
so
is the biggest what if business there is. But Lord
yes,
knows, I have needed my insurance from homeowners insurance, car insurance, medical insurance. Like you need it.
yeah,
You need it.
right,
The only one
right.
that I'm not convinced on is dental insurance. I'm like, I could just put that money aside because well, y'all be acting like what are we talking about here? But okay. All right. What's your next one? I don't know if it's my turn or your turn, but
Oh, let's see here. Because we got girl, I done switch some things around. But we kind of talked about this on previous shows, but every child is different. And I kind of hit on
Mhm.
this in regards to the patience and the emotional
Right.
aspect, but every child is different.
Yeah.
I tell parents that I work with, they're their own little person. Their own little person. They came from you, however, they're their own little person. And one, being aware of that, accepting that, you know, if you have the perspective of I treat them all the same, that's the wrong one. I'm just going to tell you right now,
Mhm.
that is the wrong one. And that probably applies to, or you probably only have one child that really works with in regards
Right.
to I treat them all the same. And so sitting down and thinking about how does my child respond to this when I say this? You know, and do that with all your children. If any of your kids are not really open to it or don't like it by way of how they act or respond to it, think of what do they respond to
Yeah.
and adjust. As a parent, you adjust. But just know within that adjustment, you know, it does require of you to girl, my girl take a nap. But it does require of you to kind of like learn how to tap into those different aspects of yourself
Mhm.
to be able to effectively parent and interact with each of your children.
Right.
At the end of the day, that level of exhaustion, when I tell you, you're gonna be tired, okay? You know, but because it's kind of like when you're training for a marathon for the first time, you're just not jumping out there and running a 5K. I mean, you can if you want to,
But you're
but you
gonna
might find
die.
yourself picking yourself up off the floor. You know what I mean? So it's like that level of exhaustion is like, whoo, child.
Yeah.
But is it necessary? Yeah, you do have to train. And because it's your children, yes, it is necessary for the well-being of all of your children.
Yeah. Absolutely. I wish I would have known that I would need a support system and what type of system. Like what does that support look like? Right.
Yeah.
I dealt with postpartum depression. And
Mm-hmm.
that was like I didn't even know. I knew from having a conversation with a former friend like that it was possible, right? She was like, so reach out if you need some help.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I didn't understand. Like I was going, no, I'm just emotional. Not like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know all the things.
Yeah.
Um, Having friends who came over in that first month, like, hey, I'm just coming to babysit. Like you just showed up to babysit. Girl, that brought me to tears. Y'all just
Yeah.
showed up to babysit, and honey, I don't even remember handing Kayla off before I was asleep. I just
Right. Believe me, I mean, all the mothers like, no, we understand. Yes. Right. Right. Yeah.
I
That
didn't
level
even
of.
know. Like
Mm-hmm.
when I tell you, I went to sleep, Danielle. Like,
I know you did because I did. So I know you did.
and I woke up and I was just like, man, I needed that. Like, but you don't know what type of support you need. And that support changes as they get older,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
sometimes that support looks like so recently, having that conversation with an associate of mine about Kayla's educational pathway, right? I didn't know I needed that support. I was just like, okay, you're gonna do all the hard classes. Like that was it for me, but hearing this is what you need to do and this is what you should do, that it made sense. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It just
Yeah.
it just made sense. And so
Right.
being able to um have that and knowing that as she gets older, there's going to be a different level of support
Right.
as
As
she
it
faces these challenges. Middle school, baby, that's a level of support. What is going on in middle school?
we
I don't
need to
know.
create a group, okay?
Listen, I don't know why
Parents of
y'all
middle schoolers.
kids are so mean and evil in middle school. But honey, like dealing with the emotional baggage and trying to keep my daughter and telling her like, no, we're still gonna be, good people when other folks' kids ain't good. Like she was
Right.
just like, so right now the kids are like, you don't cuss right? Like, cause Kayla say freaking, you know what I mean? When she get real mad, she say freaking. And they like,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, but you still can't cuss. Like
Right.
now, I'm gonna
Right.
be honest,
Exactly.
I have been tempted to be like, go for it. Say it with your chest. You use all the words mommy would use. Like, don't come over
Right.
here with that little stuff. Use the words your mama would use outside at the park with somebody that's bothering you. Use those words. Like, there's a different level of support. The support of who has been through this before. How did you handle this? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Part of
Mm-hmm.
mothers raising teen daughters was that it's that support and what we need and how we need it. It's not fun. It's not fun. And as they get older, it's that emotional, the mental, the physical, the
Yeah.
spiritual, the professional, the financial. Like there's so many levels, and
Yes.
you can get lost in that. And then you
Yes.
find yourself dropping balls
Yeah.
because I can't possibly need all these in the air at the same time.
Right. Nor
I
should
can't
you.
function like that, but you
Right.
do.
Right. Right.
So being a
And
professional mental and emotional juggler is another. I'm gonna put that on my job description.
hey, so if you're not taking notes, that's a note to take the note, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But yes, having that level of support, and also like you mentioned, not necessarily knowing what that support would look like. There are sometimes life lessons, there are life things that happen in life that put you in a position where this is like, okay, this is beyond me. I
Right.
don't know, I've never experienced this, so
Right.
it'll be taken upon yourself to seek out of finding that support or that guidance. So
Yeah.
but yeah, let's see here. uh, the I sighed because I recently came across something that mentioned, in so many words, that it's not about trying to obtain the balance. So,
Uh,
but the next one is the challenge of balancing it all,
mm-hmm.
and you never have it balanced, because nothing is all at the same need at the same time.
Yeah. I don't even
It's
believe
going
in balance. I believe in the harmony of things, but I
right. I
don't
was
think
saying,
because she doesn't need the emotional support every day. Or, well, let me rephrase that. She don't need the physical support every day, right? She break her ankle. I'm carrying her up 3 flights of stairs. That's that physical support, but that doesn't happen all the time. The
yeah,
emotional support is a daily thing. The
yeah,
mental
yeah.
support is a daily thing. So I just don't like the phrase balance, but I get it.
Yeah, right, right. And then I would say for me, because like when I was a new mom, first having a child, I was in my 30s. So I had my life down. I had my routine down. There were certain things that was just the way that I functioned in.
Right.
With having a child, that totally just turned that upside down. And I found myself constantly trying to get back to that place of how I used to function, and it wasn't working. So it was like kind of having that balance between work life, home
Mm-hmm.
life, home with my friends, my circle, and then there's mommy life, which that never parent life that never turns off. You're married, that never turns off. So, and then it's like, well, where
Uh-huh.
the heck do I fit in? Where's my hiatus? 3 months, where are you? It's like
Right. And then we start
it's
feeling depleted because we're not there for ourselves.
right. And then, and with not resetting for yourself, you're doing from an empty place.
Right.
You know, your anyways. So with that, the balance of it all was a very, very, very challenging thing for me. But now have gotten to a place of, okay, what needs to be a focus or tended to right at this moment. And then also within this week, I'm making sure I'm doing something for me. Yes. Because there's always going to be something. When I say always, there's always going to be something, no matter what. Yeah. And so getting to a place of that's okay. And that is the norm, you know, but addressing what you can. Yeah. And then some days is one thing and some days is 10. But I will say whenever it's one thing, I'm like, okay, that don't sound right. I think I'm thinking about 8 other things. I'm just saying.
It's too slow around here today. Like something ain't getting done.
So, but more so focusing on, okay, what needs to be tended to and addressed right at this moment. Or, you know, and I would say that it has a deadline, you know, and also within your typical daily routine, you know, your dinner, you know, practice, things of that nature. And then remember the razzle dazzle, which you are the razzle dazzle. So put you a little bit of razzle dazzle on the week and then there you go, you know. But even that, you know, even within that is challenging as well at times. You know, kids get sick, pets get hurt, you know, or you just may not be feeling it. Because I would say for me, like Monday, when I say I knocked out that list, I was
like, okay. Congratulations, girl.
10. And Tuesday, I was like, list where? I couldn't even say. Yeah.
Well, I would say this because you are a great reminder of this all the time for me. Thank you for always giving me the space and the grace, right? Because we have so much going on between the two of us. Like this show ain't all we do together or apart, right? And so I'm grateful that you always give me that grace. And then you're like, no, like, and you'll recap, like, you've been doing this and this and this. And I'm like, oh, is that why I'm so tired? Like, I'll forget all the stuff because I don't have time to recap. I gotta get, you know what I'm saying? But you always do that for me. So I appreciate the grace and the space that you hold for me. Tell us what you guys think. What do we leave off the list? Like, what do you wish you knew before parenting? Like that's before you became a parent, I should say. Let us know. Send us an email at therealonparenting@gmail.com. And we will catch y'all on the next show. Thank you for joining us here on Brownstone Worldwide KCCR Radio. Talk to you soon.